Nah, Zim is 5'8.5", 180 pounds. That's crazy.
5'9", 5'9", and I can't get. I'm stuck at 192, man. It's kind of irking me, but I'm gonna keep working. I'm grinding.
You got to switch your workout up.
Yeah, that's what I do. Then I gotta start eating right.
But yo, we
Eat
back,
good,
man.
but just meaning like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we know you be eating sweet, man. Let's figure this out.
You always gotta throw some jab in there.
Always, man. Damn, man. Happy to be back. Got my bros, Zim and Dot here, man. This is the professor. We got a lot to talk about this week. A lot to talk about. First things first, man. Yo, this whole SARS thing going on in Nigeria. So I've been following it, but I guess today got really bad.
Yeah, they shot into the protesters.
No pellet bullets either.
They live rounds.
Yeah, so it's just crazy just reading up on it, seeing it. Obviously, being a Nigerian, I'm just really invested into it. And it just goes more into the system again and what it's built for. A system that was supposed to protect us, and that was SARS' original thing, and preventing people from robbing them. They end up extorting the people of the city. So
things that I've done, as far as me not talking to y'all, addressing y'all, coming to y'all.
Oh man,
I ain't doing
lanes. All right, put
that to the thing. I gotta see that. He said he ain't do it.
Put your role model down, please.
What can I do here? Because there's times I was like,
nah, that's breaking news.
Yo,
now they need to know.
He's telling the story.
They need to know. No, you're not allowed to talk. I will handle that for you in the court of law. So at that point,
we have a record, man. We can't be listening to this.
Yeah, I can't front, man. He's gonna save it. It's gonna be everywhere, dog. You see Jiggy though. Jiggy's like, well, maybe.
I'm not wavering at all.
So are you telling me even this you're not even planning on listening?
No, what I'm saying is
waiting for the comment section to tell you what.
When Dot was acting like he saw like Jesus Nazareth on his phone. Totally speaking, like I was like, yo, like it's gonna be everywhere. I said what you said a minute before you said it. It's gonna be everywhere. Shade Room, academics, YouTube, everywhere.
But answer the question: do you plan on watching it? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course. I listened. I watched the clips that they showed when he was in New York shooting that weird music video with all them little kids.
I hate Josh when he dead set on somebody. He say,
I know you're not talking.
Nah, I'm not like I'm like I'm like reality still. I don't like make stuff up in my head.
Every single person in this chat has people or someone that they
not as bad as you.
Oh, that's cap.
Not as bad as you.
Take it to another level.
Oh my god.
Like today with the Sean King, I like seen where you were going with it. I was like, oh my god, like
that's why I had to keep jabbing back.
I think Sean King is funny, bro. And he's not even black.
How you know?
Bro, they have pictures of his parents, of his birth certificate.
They don't know his dad, but you want to tell him?
No, he said that my dad is some dude that my mom had an affair with that nobody ever seen, no one ever heard of. He's like basically like that lady. What's her name? The lady that was pretending to be black.
I know, that's a totally different.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm hearing this is breaking news. I'm getting this is alarming news. Man, free my man Tory, man.
John came out and said it. I respect you, bro.
Definitely know what clip is going up tomorrow. I know what clip is going up tomorrow.
Yo,
I
can't wait to see the feedback on that, man.
I know what clip is going up tomorrow.
Chill.
I know. Dude, stand on it. Who cares?
Nah, but that's what you be doing.
If you believe him. If you believe him, you believe him.
Too. You try to shame them. I said you do that with the Trump supporters too. You try to shame them.
Ooh, I don't shame Trump supporters. You do.
But this
you and your man Sean King.
whatchamacallit, what's the SARS in Nigeria reminds me kind of, I don't know if you ever saw that movie Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of that.
Don Cheadle, right? Don
Yeah.
Cheadle.
Yep.
That was the Rwandan genocide. That was like ethnic cleansing. That was like 1 million, like they killed like 1 million people in like 2 months.
A lot of savagery going on, man.
Yeah, bro, like, yo, honestly, as many complaints as we got about the United States, like, at least stuff like this don't be going on. Like, that's, like, yo, imagine you just at a protest like we was at the State House, and
then they just
everybody get all together and just start shooting into the crowd. That's scary. But I think that what it shows, Zine brought up a good point, where, like, it's not like white people take offense because people link being a police officer with white or being an oppressor with being white, and it's not about a white cop or a black cop or a Spanish cop. It's just about the system in general, like the foundational system that these people are police in. So, I mean, I pray for those people out there in Nigeria. Like, you know, I've been seeing a lot of our friends and acquaintances post about it. You know, we know a lot of Nigerians. We got one in this chat. You know,
I was just talking to my mom about it, you know, breaking it down to her, getting a better explanation. Like, obviously, she's getting all these videos and WhatsApps from people that she knows back home, but she's not connecting on why is it transpiring, because obviously the media has the same type of control as any state does. You know what I mean? They're going to show what they're going to show, and this is why social media it's just very important. Instagram's important, live's important. You know what I mean? You can't run from the truth in regards to what your camera sees nowadays. The camera right now is the most vital weapon in the world right now.
Yo, you're mad low.
Am I?
Yeah, you're mad low.
The camera's the most dangerous thing going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of social media, man, you know, there was an incident a few days ago where a young man was riding was it a motor scooter?
Moped.
A moped. And he was getting chased by the police, and the police ran him off the road and, like, you know, basically ran into him, ran him off the road. You know, the young man is in a coma, and it was all over social media. You know, it was big news here in Providence, Rhode Island. You know, the Providence community is up in an uproar. The Dominican community is up in an uproar. And there's a march currently going on, or was going on, that started on Elmwood Ave. And, you know, the images are disturbing of just, you know, a young person riding, you know, a moped and then getting ran off the road and basically getting his moped collided into by a police truck. So, fellas, I don't know about you, but when I saw that, like, my stomach turned. And right now the young man is in a coma, and he might not make it. What are y'all thoughts on it?
It's I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's a tough situation because, like, you know, and I kind of what we've been talking about since we started, like, this podcast about, like, you know, the police and, like, you know, a certain reform having to be going amongst the police. Like, and I just think the biggest thing is, like, yes, I get, like, from what I gathered or what I learned about it, like, you know, it was like a group of people that were on, like, you know, these mopeds or like the four-wheelers, and they were trying to get away from police or whatever. They weren't supposed to be riding or whatever the case is. But it just comes, like, it has to get to a point where, like, it's like, I don't know if you say the police officer uses better judgment, but it's like certain things, and I don't know how true it is, but I'm hearing it's like a no chase policy, but then, like, you know, you're making sure you're getting at least one of them. So I don't know. This it's unfortunate what happened to the young man. You never want to see anything like that. But I just, like, I just don't know. Like, at this point, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to, like, you know, feel about it. You know what I'm saying? So you just never want to see something like that happen.
Yeah. Now, it's just crazy how close to home it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stuff that we've been seeing all year throughout the country. like a crazy social media incident happened, like, you know, in the city that we're at. And I just feel it is tough, because at the end of the day, I don't, you know, to me, it's not about the crime. Like, you know, there's some egregious crimes out there, or breaking of the law, but I'm just sick and tired of that. You know, the judge, jury, and the executioner happens right there in that situation. So guilty or not guilty, these individuals can't get an opportunity, you know, to quote unquote see their day in court. So we have a person who took made a mistake or whatever, was doing something that he wasn't supposed to be doing at the time, does not mean it should end in a death sentence or being in a coma or anything of that nature. So I just feel bad for the city, for the family, for that, you know, individual. I pray, you know, he recovers from this coma. But unfortunately, I see another situation where the police force is going to use all their resources to protect this individual, and, you know, just group chat rumor mill. I might know the individual. I ain't gonna say the name because of legal purposes or anything of that nature. You know, the millions of people watching it. I don't know if that will get us in trouble in regards to that. But if it is true, just lets me know that a certain way that police, they're taught a certain way, and that certain way, unfortunately, ends up in situations just like this.
Yeah, man. It's just so weird. Like let's say like this is just, you know, if you want to even give the officer the benefit of the doubt, and let's say like, hey, I made a mistake. I thought he was gonna zig and he zagged. You know what I'm saying? The cop is in a full car and this kid is on a moped. You know, they still have to be held liable for the things that they do, for the mistakes that they make. And I mean, it's like, damn, like if I do the smallest thing, like if I got arrested for a fight in a bar that I might even have started, I'm losing my job. Period. You know what I'm saying?
And God forbid you hit that person, he knocks out, hits his head on the side of the bar. Ain't no one gonna be like, "Hey, I didn't start this fight." No, that's murder right there. You know what I'm
That's what I'm
saying? You have to
saying.
pay for that mistake.
At the very least, it's manslaughter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like Sean really gave the best analogy for this is that, you know, if a cop walks into Fuego Lounge in his uniform, everyone's going to just like turn their back, like not pay attention, be like, yo, what's this dude even doing here? If he goes to some bar in Warwick, people going to buy him drinks, women going to be all over him.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, and that's the disconnect. You know, there has to be some kind of middle ground that we can find, or not a ground, but I mean, I'm very interested to see, because I'm interested to see what kind of power and sway the Spanish community has that's a little bit different than the Black community.
That's
So
a great point.
I got a question. So, and obviously, like, you know, with this, of all the things that we disagree about, this is one thing that we kind of all agree about. What do you think in that situation could the police officer, if you're in that role and you're chasing someone that's like trying to get away from you and they're like doing something that may not be legal, what do you think the police officer's best option was to do? Because what if the police officer was thinking like, all right, I'm gonna like, I don't know if the police officer is that knowledgeable to, or maybe he is, to be like, all right, I'm gonna hit the wheel and this person's gonna die, or I'm gonna hit the wheel and it's gonna like stop the car from moving and we'll get him to a standstill and he won't be able to get away anymore. What do you think the cop could have did different in that situation?
All right, so
Cop, what are you doing?
right. Nah, all right, great question. I first want to emphasize, like, honestly, I don't think the person, meaning the cop behind the wheel, had the intent, like, I'm trying to kill this individual. You know what I'm saying? And that I just want to clear up in regards of a mistake happened. So I don't think the intent there, but a mistake happened. Someone may or may not, you know, result in them losing their lives. Someone has to, have the repercussions of those mistakes right there in that moment. So I want to clear that up. In that moment, And that's my biggest obstacle is I don't know what the protocol that they have in place right now. I'm just saying if that was me, I'm continuing to follow this individual and set up some type of perimeter or use my vehicle as a shield, but not actually go into the person. Because at the end of the day, if I'm in a speed chase, let's say with regular cars, I'm not intentionally trying to hit a car, to cause an accident, and that can hit other civilians because everyone's on the street. Like, that wouldn't be my thought process. If this thing turned into a 20-minute speed race or a 30-minute or hour or whatever the case may be, my intent is just to shadow. But I don't know if that's the protocol that they have. No, ram, defeat, or eliminate, but so he won't be a potential flight risk or injure somebody else or take a hostage. I really don't know. If you get what I'm trying to say, I'm just in the mindset of I'm gonna continue following and prompting and trying to create barricades, not actually use my car as a weapon or a force to stop the vehicle.
At the end of the day, your points are well taken, but I'm just looking at it from the point of view of like, all right, what are you chasing them for? Like if you're chasing like a murder suspect or like a armed robber or something like that, that's something completely different. Someone that's really like a real danger to everybody around them. And I'm saying to myself, like, what benefit did you get from chasing the dude down? Like another statistic, like, yeah, he's breaking the law, but it's like, to me, it's like, I would, if in my mind, and I could be wrong because I don't know protocol, but I'm just saying, if it's a serious suspect that we're chasing, someone we've been after, a murderer, a major drug dealer, armed robber, something, an abuser, or something like that, a pedophile, like that's different. You know what I'm saying? That's way, way different. And you have to go to the wall to try to apprehend this person. But if you're just like, yo, this kid's being a menace in traffic, now you create a whole situation where it's like, all right, cool. We didn't get you this time, but eventually they're gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? If they really want the dude, they're gonna definitely get the dude.
The rebuttal is, well, this all could have been prevented if he wasn't breaking the law in the first place. Just like they say, oh, this could have been prevented if he just wasn't resisting arrest. But you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always going to be that counter to anything that we say. And that's, I hate that aspect of it, but that's what they do. That's what they do.
Yeah, but that's not, see now you're asking like letter of the law. Like, yeah, technically they can be like, well, he was evading arrest. But then on the flip side, it's like, yo, I'm sure that person's captain or sergeant, like, yo, use your head, use common sense. Like, like, why are you going to run a dude in a moped? You know what I'm saying? This isn't Bad Boys 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing?
But the flashing no weapon.
I feel that, but I think
a weapon's different.
Those bikes and everything, those legally can't be driven on the streets. And I know kind of growing up in New York, like you see that a lot in the summertime. And like, I think it's like a sport for the people that kind of ride it, or at least back in the day, I knew it was a sport for them to kind of like get away from the police. Like they knew the chase was on. And I understand like, don't like, what do you like? I'm just saying, that's like, if that's a law and that's part of your policy that's put in, like this can't be allowed, like at what point do you say, like Zim said, all right, he'd find a way to like corner the car with his car, but how do you, from a police officer standpoint, how do you say like, all right, I'm just gonna let this happen? What if you just let that happen and then that mob of whoever's riding with the bikes, like an accident happens and someone gets hurt or they flip into another car because you just let it. So that's why I'm just saying, it's like, it's a tough situation, but it's so like, it's like, I'm lost at, like, what do you do?
Do you guys want to hear the response from the father of the victim?
Yep.
Jhamal Gonzalez is a tough as nails, loved by everyone and works an honest job every day for the last 6 years at Newport Shipyard, and he commits himself to something. He stands by his commitment, as he has his beautiful fiance, Kendra DeBolt, for the last 8 years of their life. This monster, who was hired by elected officials to protect and serve, has tried to take him from all of us and the justice has to be served, and the operator of the police car has to be prosecuted with attempted murder and ADW assault with a deadly weapon, as you or I would be. For those that have knowledge of the law, deadly force can be used if a person has committed or attempted to commit a felony. Police are not trained to shoot to injure a person. If deadly force is used, that officer is not allowed. Just try and hurt you. Last time I checked, a traffic citation is not a felony. Under Rhode Island general law, this guy did his research. But even reckless driving is done when a person is driving 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, which is still a misdemeanor offense. The speed limit on Elmwood Avenue is 25 to 35 miles. That moped goes up to 45 miles. An SUV is built to carry massive weight, multiple. Sorry, I had to switch to the next picture. The SUV is built to carry massive weight, multiple passengers in tough terrain. Those bars on the front of the police vehicle are used for pit maneuvers and built to protect the people inside the vehicle. For that man to take an SUV, drive it up on the sidewalk where there is a brick wall between the vehicle and the object, or the person that is striking with the vehicle has no chance. Now, I do not hate the police. I do, however, believe that they are not trained properly to have understanding of empathy and safety for others. It is our elected people that have power to change that. Every uniform is worn by a man or woman. Without uniform, they are the same person as you and I. And people, when trained and given the knowledge, can accomplish anything and proven to do so. Now, there are some jobs that have room for mistakes, but when an officer decides to use deadly force, there is no room for mistakes. That is cruel and an unjust treatment. An assault that caused bodily injury becomes a felony. Now, when you take 5,000 pounds piece of steel with enforced crash bars and decide to put something between that 5,000 piece of steel and a brick wall, what does any person with the average amount of intelligence think is going to happen? I need people to stand and demand that this person is convicted to the fullest extent. My son, who does not have a criminal record, who has been with the same young lady for 8 years. I don't know what that has to do with anything anyway, but
Saying he's a good dude.
I know, but I'm saying like he's in his bag right now.
Rightfully so, right?
Yeah, lady for 8 years who has earned his way and committed himself to job for 6 years, who at the age of 24 years old has been preparing himself and working with people in real estate to buy the house for him and his young fiance to start to begin what we are taught and wish to have for ourselves. For every young man to become such a young man like Jhamal Gonzalez, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, even though myself was not always there to earn Father of the Year, my son was determined to become the man that we all wish to be. This monster driving a 5,000 piece of steel with an enforced crash bar on the front decided to strike my son for a traffic citation and put my son between the deadly weapon and a brick wall. That monster chose to make this decision under oath to protect and serve, who is paid to do service work for us and hired by men and women of the state with the assumption that he would do so, no hesitation.
That's real. That's well said. And like, I'm not like disagreeing. I'm not saying that the police officer was right. I'm just saying, what do you do? Do you just say, let it go? You know what I'm saying? Do you just say, all right, they're not causing harm to anyone right now, like let them go ride, and then what if then something happens after that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what I just genuinely wanted to know in that situation, what would be the best thing to do?
Yeah, reading that, and I think just reading that, and what I got from it is like, when you sign up to be a police officer, I'm under the impression that you are there to, like he said, protect and serve.
Mm-hmm.
And in this particular situation, I don't know what made it heightened. I understand if it was a weapon or gun drawn or whatever, but it was a situation where you're driving around mid-traffic, midday to chase somebody on a moped that wasn't an extreme danger at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when at one point you're just gonna be like, yo, is this really that big of a deal? Or I can continue to monitor him until to see wherever he goes. You're not, no 45 miles per hour moped is outgunning a cruiser. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, these are just the little quick, and I understand in the police, I'm imagining everything's just like this. But sometimes just take a step back and be like, yo, in this
Why am I even chasing this
that
kid?
deep. Yeah, why am I chasing him? What's happening? This wasn't from a drug bust. It wasn't from chasing a murderer. It was a kid who was regardless breaking the law, but like the father stated, it's a misdemeanor citation, traffic violation at worst. And then the fact that he's fighting for his life over that is like, I feel him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough.
All right, man. You guys both, you know what I'm saying, ask great questions, pull that. I just end it with like, hey, man, like, I'm pretty sure that people from that officer, whoever it is, from his partner all the way up to the mayor, probably wishes he had just let him go, and probably would have advised him like, yo, man, just let it go. We'll catch up with him another time. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and now we're in this situation where, we're praying for this young man. We're praying for his family. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very interested to see what comes of this. But yeah, one thing I want to say is like, yo, I don't want to be that person like, yo, the officer like should be, put in jail for the rest of his life. Like, cause like that kind of the punishment culture that we live in is the same reason why that kid got nudged off of his dirt bike or moped by a officer. You know what I'm saying? So switching gears, man, into something a little bit more positive. What do you guys think? Has 2020 been a good year for music, an okay year, or a bad year?
It's been a great year. I think it's been really good projects that came out. Like, I think we kind of went through that like 1 year where it was like damn, music is trash. Like, we got Little Pump and Smoke Up Perp, whatever their names is, just making music and they're being like the front runners of everything. But now we've had like Benny the Butcher, that's a hard album. Nas dropped the album, Lil Baby, Gunna. We've had like a lot of artists come out with music this year. And I think it's been like, was Roddy Ricch 2020 or 2019?
End of 2019, but it rolled off to the beginning of this year.
Yeah, so we've had a plethora of great music that's like come out this year.
Yeah, I agree, man. Listen, I know as an artist and just, studying that game, reading up on it, they want their rollouts different. They want to tour. They want to be in these facilities and travel and see the people. But they're at the point like, you know what? People are not as much occupied. I can still put out quality music and people are going to appreciate it more because they're listening to it more frequently. But I agree, man. Even the Young Thug and Chris Brown project was dope to me. A lot of artists, all the, everything Griselda put out, obviously Polo G, Baby. You guys know I love Moneybagg Yo. I love everything he put out.
Yeah.
Even the females, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B came back. So, we're missing a lot of our favorite artists. Drake's dropping #1 Lucy's out there and features. Me on a personal level, I miss Meek Mill, you know what I mean? But
even you seen that new song he got with the new video he got with Dirk? That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's been a great year for hip hop, man. We got the battles, we got the Master P and No Limit and Rough Riders.
Yeah.
No, it's been a really good year for hip hop.
I agree.
With everything that's going on.
And it shows once again that hip hop is still supreme. You know what I'm saying? In regards to taking over numbers wise, whatever you want to do and talk about, it's there. Obviously, different vibe and feel that we can't enjoy it as much in the settings that we like. Just linking up, clubs, lounges, concerts, things of that nature. But I think it's the quality of music has been good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that I think that there's been a lot of projects that dropped, which I think helps the overall like balance of the year. Like I just pulled up like best albums of 2020, and we got the Pray for Paris, we got Meg Thee Stallion, we got Polo G, album dropped. The Weeknd's album dropped. Pop Smoke's album dropped.
Yeah.
Don Toliver, Revenge of the Dreamers, Drake, Dark Lane demo tapes. We got the Benny the Butcher. Some other guy in there, like the Future High Off Life. I was like, Big Sean's album was good. Nas's album was really good. I don't listen to Rod Wave, but I heard it was a good album. Juice WRLD's album was good. Yeah, so there has been a lot of really good projects this year. I just don't think that there's been any great projects. Like maybe the Benny the Butcher is the one that'll like stay. And you guys love Little Baby. I thought the Baby album was good. It's not really my cup of tea, but I can like recognize, okay, this is good, really good material. So I think that if Baby's album came out, February? And then you got Benny the Butcher coming out late October, like those are two really strong bookends for the year. And I think those are probably the two highest quality albums to come out. Cause I would say, for his lane, like Baby's album was great. For Benny's lane, his album was great. And there's been a lot of solid material in between that. And Sean did make a good point about the documentaries, like people getting to learn about the Master P story, people getting to learn about the Rough Riders story. And then you got to put the versus battles into, into that mix too. It's been a really good year for music. I don't know if there's any you have to wait a while to judge if an album's a classic or if that's staying power past 6 months, a year. But I think that the albums y'all mentioned, Baby's album is probably gonna keep churning. Pop Smoke's album been #1 for a while now.
21 Savage put out,
21 Savage put out a good
but that album goes hard. So yeah, I think it's all. And especially, like I said, I always put this whole year in perspective of 2020. So for the midst of everything that's going on, yeah, maybe people are, as artist-wise, like, you know what, I'm not going to go my hardest, or I don't know the thought process. But then again, we expect classic albums from the Drakes, the Coles, the Meek Mills, the Kendrick Lamars, who else? Beyonce dropping something special.
Meek Mill's album. What do you think Meek Mill's best album is?
Me personally,
a lot of Meek lately too.
Yeah, me personally, I just love what he did in Wins and Losses.
Yeah,
but I understand why people are saying Champion.
Favorite.
I understand why people will say Champion's his best work. And that's good to say because it's his last work. You know what I'm saying? But for me personally, the time where he was at, what was going around and surrounding, Wins and Losses is a classic to me.
That's the one with We Ball, whatever.
Ball, yeah, with Young Thug.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite Meek album.
That right there, what he did in that lane and pocket, and then people forget he had the track with Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj that did platinum. He had Dangerous as well.
Trauma, yeah, some good
Trauma. We Ball. What's the other one?
Trauma wasn't on Championships?
Nah, Trauma's on.
Trauma's on Championship. Trauma's on Championship.
No, let me see.
Championships was, for me, his two best projects, because it wasn't an album, but Dream Chasers, that first mixtape, is his best. I think it's is a real good start. Then he dipped a little bit in the middle, but I do think Championships was really good.
My bad. I'm thinking of Heavy Heart and 1942 flows.
That 1942 flow. Oh my god. I can recite that. I can recite that whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's my favorite Meek album.
So let me ask this. This is where I want to move the conversation to. So I recently listened to an academic live stream, and he's talking about Drake being the GOAT, like the greatest rapper of all time. And I think Drake obviously has a case because he's been on top since like 2010. You know what I'm saying? And it's 2020. So that's a bookend 10-year run at the top, or at least near the top, every single year. So, but he was diminishing a lot of other rappers. Like, I'm not even talking about just like the Meeks and all that, but he's diminishing the Kendricks, the Coles, and he also said that Jay-Z can't fuck with Meek. Fuck with Drake.
All right, so break it down. You gotta give the audience like
Yeah.
his little, what he said about
You
this
listen to
artist,
it,
that
right?
artist.
You listen to it, right?
Yeah,
So
I listened to it.
he
Yeah,
said that Jay-Z only got one pocket, Cole got one pocket, Kendrick only got two pockets, and Drake got like 4, maybe even 5.
So I think Jay-Z just did too much for like the hip hop game for him to say that, because Jay-Z literally went from like, this dude coming up that's like freestyling to talking about like, how he got there, how he established, and then like he told you another story. Like one of my favorite Jay-Z song is Coming of Age, the sequel. And it kind of sees how he like graduates and like how he's the man now, how he kind of wants to put everyone on. And then he goes to another phase, like, I'm not even about that now, I'm on my business stuff. Now he's on another phase, he's telling you how to level up. And now he's another phase where I'm just richer than everybody. So he just like told you stories about like the 10, 11 pillars of his life. So I don't think you ever be able to top that. They're kind of like all of a autobiography if you really listen to it from start to finish. But I just think like everybody likes Kendrick. Kendrick and Cole is nice, and like, their message. And if you want to talk about substance rap, they're there. But I just don't think they've ever been able to reach that like, level of dominance year after year that Drake has. Like you can't, like I get the argument, like to rap how they rap, it takes time to, but like you can't shift the narrative. If somebody's killing it since 2009 to 2020 going on 2021, you can't say, all right, every 3 years when he drops an album, he kills it. This guy does it every year. So I just think he's in a totally different lane in conversation, in my opinion, than Kendrick and Cole.
Well, I won't argue so much Kendrick and Cole. I think that Kendrick was on a crazy trajectory after he dropped Black Panther, but he been going for like, so that was like 2018. We're in 2020 now, and so you automatically lose points. One thing that did back academics up, because he was just going and going and going and going, and it reminded me of having a conversation with a lot of Drake fans. Kanye West did back him up a little bit, because he said that Drake's able to stay at the top because basically Drake kind of made like what's the new song he got now? Laugh Now, Cry Later. Sounds just like God's plan. You know what I'm saying? So he's saying that he's giving Kanye credit for one album sounds completely different from the next album to the next album is different, to the next album is different, to the next album is different. Like the thing that hurts Kanye is that he just lost his mind, and his music hasn't been the same in a long time. And Drake's been able to just stay steady. Like, even when they hit him with the ghostwriting thing, he's going at it with Meek. He drops Charged Up, and we all like, all right, cool. This is, what I'm saying, this is smooth. He drops back to back, and he's slapping around like the supposed gangster rapper. You know what I'm saying? I think that my opinion on Drake changed during that battle. Because before that, I was kind of like, yo, I like Drake, but he's kind of over there, like, and this is like the rap lane, but he's kind of over there. But ever since that battle, like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, now I seen Drake can go to the ground and just get somebody out of here. Because if he can come back and get, and really like patch it up with Meek, like, I'm not sure where Meek would be right now. Like, he was doing good, but now Meek is back. Him and Drake back, cool. They had that big record on Championships.
All right. Jeez.
You don't want to hear that.
Yeah, it's just like I thought we was talking about, Drake compared to diminishing, but you went a little bit left. I'm gonna let it slide. I got the DC hat on.
Listen.
I'm just letting you know. But let me tell you, this is my analogy, and just hear me out. This is who Drake is.
Okay.
Drake is Barry Bonds. All right. So hear me out. And I say he's Barry Bonds because we know he has the all-time leader in home runs. He's always going to hit it out the park. Regardless, Barry Bonds, he's a Hall of Famer, but they won't put him in the Hall of Fame. Why? Because he is suspected to have been cheating for a long duration of time. But why I say Drake is like Barry Bonds is because Drake is a Hall of Fame with the help, and I'm talking the ghostwriting, the tanks or whatever, But people forget Barry Bonds had a Hall of Fame career while he was with the Pirates. So if you just put his stats with what he did for the Pirates, he would have made Hall of Fame on just off of that. He didn't need the HGH and the Balco. You know what I'm saying? But he took it, and it took him to a whole nother level, and he's on that level. But at the end of the day, regardless, it's just like, no, at the end of the day, you still need your eyes, the bat, and your eye strength to hit that ball. All the HGH does is make you hit it further than everybody else. So he has the skills, and that's my analogy with Drake. He's Barry Bonds. Duh, and that's no slight. I'm not trying to hate.
Nah, he's definitely, that's a bad comparison because he's
How is that a bad comparison?
Because when it's all said and done, there's never gonna be any question of if he's ever gonna. He probably saved, no lie, he probably literally like saved and carried hip hop. To be honest,
I agree. I definitely agree.
He created
Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and McGuire did the same thing for a stretch.
No, they didn't though. Them dudes did whatever they did, and then they fell off, and then there was. He's a pioneer. Like when you judge that being great at somebody, like when we talk about the MJs or the LeBrons or the Jay-Z's, is who did you help? Who did you put on? There's so many dudes now that got careers because they got the Midas touch.
I agree to that.
Like Barry Bonds and Sammy Sosa was never. They didn't.
All right, so hold on. Let me ask this question. Do you think that? I think that when my one huge knock against Drake that I don't like is that he really hasn't been able to have anyone pop from his own camp. Like that's like another major like whereas like Jay-Z had like Beanie Siegel, Memphis Bleak, freaking Kanye West, Dipset, Cameron, like a lot of dudes underneath them. Then when he took Drake benefits from being on a what's the dude's name? Block Boy J song. He benefits from that, not as much as Block Boy J, but I think that like makes Drake like it keeps him in tune with that younger up and coming generation. Like, yo, who's the new kid that he just did a song with?
Meek Mill's
Young Blue.
Yeah, so like me at 35, I had only heard the name Young Blue. I never heard a Young Blue song in my life. But Young Blue has a different fan base than a Drake. So Drake is like, all right, cool.
Alabama.
I'm gonna go to the ground and you know what I'm saying and be with the chasers. But then on the inverse, it's like a mutual beneficial relationship where like, yo, I'm gonna expose you to a whole new like group of people that never would have heard you ever.
That's what Doc's talking. That's putting them on.
I'm saying it cuts both ways.
The funny thing about it is everything comes back full circle. And I used to tell you guys this when we used to have the first arguments about the ghostwriting and everything they was trying to say with Drake. So like when I go to New Hampshire, I've been making it a point of interest to listen to, like, I downloaded Dat Piff, and my focus was the G Unit and D Block beefs and the Rockefeller and who was he battling with at the time? The Rockefeller and whoever was going at Jay-Z at the time, like the Nas and Jay-Z beef. So like some DJs will put all of the mixtapes together that went at it with Jay-Z. There's a song, Zeem, and I know you would love this. There's a song on the mixtape of Dat Piff where it has reference tracks from, or not reference tracks, well, there's certain lines that we love and know Jay-Z from, and they literally played every line from Biggie he took to make that a song. So they said he didn't write his stuff. They said that he was stealing from Big. They said that he's using these young guys, basically the young guns and the state property cast, to stay hot. There's the same things we saying now, and like look how the careers turned out. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the kind of my.
For some reason, I think I've heard.
I gotta send it to you.
Who's the DJ?
Let me look it up, because it was, and they even had the interviews when Cam called in on K Slay and he was Cam on Jay-Z, and they're like saying Jay-Z's like this sucker, and but like I get Josh, he had all those artists, but he also had dames and bigs who are Harlem dudes that was to the ground, bringing them the dip sets, like, you know, going out and getting those state property dudes. Drake has 40.
Well, I mean, Drake has a very strong team. But the good thing about Drake's team is that they're not trying to be like a Dame Dash, like on the video, spraying champagne, yo, Drake really is like a record label dream. Like he's like this. He's black, so he can say the N-word, but he has that mindset of the dude he's working with, like that Jewish accountant. Like, yo, like we keep everything solid, and pretty much, maybe this is because they're in Canada, but like, yo, they're a very tight ship, and they don't make mistakes.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed. They don't make a lot of mistakes. Yeah.
I just think Drake is just a great artist. You want to go hard rap, you want to go slow, you want to go R&B, you want to do auto-tune, you want to do trap, you want to do England, you want to do Africa, Jamaica, Australia. He is a chameleon, and I'm giving him credit for that. He is willing to do whatever, put it out there, and whatever it is going to be at an elite level that you have to respect it and listen to it, and he's crafty. I can't take that away from him. He leads the hip-hop community in all-time hits. That's why I said Barry Bonds. He leads the baseball with most home runs. That's an accomplishment.
He's first ballot.
When academics was talking about that,
yeah, but because haters, the same haters that vote for the Hall of Fame is the same haters that always want to slight Drake in the sense of, oh, ghostwriting, people this, people that. It's like, that's my analogy there. And I'm guilty of it. I'm going to do that because at the end of the day, he had his 2011 NBA Finals LeBron James. That ghostwriting thing and that whole Pusha T battle, those are two blemishes on his record.
And
you can't take that away. It might be minor to you.
Hold up, minor.
He won the chip the same year.
The ghostwriting thing, like that lasted like 5 minutes, bro. Like
no. You're talking about the battle between him and Meek. I'm not disputing that no more. That is a stain on his situation where he went from Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole to Diddy, Dr. Dre, and those type of artists.
I can't go there.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I'm not trying to convince you guys. I'm not trying to convince you guys, but it is what it is.
What I'm gonna say is, like, I think that in that moment of the ghostwriting, we were shocked, like, oh shit, like this is like crazy, like what is going on? But I think that because of how he handled it, and he cleaned the battle rapper up, the gangster rapper up, and
he did. I think you're missing the point. You're talking about the specific.
You gotta follow me, bro. Then. So what I'm saying is that he destroyed the dude so bad, and he been making like even bigger records than before. Like me personally, like his best album is what? Take Care. Was that 2011?
I don't know when it came out, but Take Care, right?
That's wild. But since then, bro, like he been like no one can even.
So he put out another Take Care. You're saying?
No, but what I'm saying is.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that you can say the music quality is X, Y, or Z. But what I'm saying is that his status, his rise has continued to go up and up and up. And now he's at the point where like he would have to get caught with like a 6-year-old boy to bring that, you know what I'm saying, to bring that show down, bro. He ghostwriting is one thing. Dudes can try to punch him with that, but when he's explained that, yo, I wrote for all these other dudes, like I wrote for Diddy, I wrote for Jamie Foxx, I wrote for Beyonce, I wrote for Kanye. Like the reason why him and Pusha T can go back and forth because Pusha T doesn't need help writing. You know what I'm saying? So they can go back and forth. But right now in 2020, he's Teflon.
I agree. I think what you're just, regardless of how big you think it is, was, should be, whatever, it's something that's there. Does that make sense? I don't think that you're
It's
comprehending.
something that's there, but I think it's something that.
All right, that's all I'm saying, Doc. That's all I'm saying.
It's
We can't
gonna
act
fade.
like because he made great music and
I
he's
think I already
Teflon
figured.
that we can't bring it up.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I
I'm
don't
not saying that you
understand.
could bring it up, but what I'm
All right.
saying is, I'm saying in relevance to your Barry Bonds comment, that's just gonna be. I think when
Well,
it's all said and done, that's gonna be. I think the Pusha T beef will have more weight on what went down than. I think when you're telling Drake's story and you're making a documentary, when they talk about the ghostwriting part, they're gonna go so crazy on how he like went so hard on Meek Mill, and then they'll probably dive into how that kind of hurt him and Nicki's relationship. But then I think when you fast forward and you have to talk about the Pusha T beef, you have to get more. That part of the documentary will be like, damn, like that had me feeling a certain type of way. Like he brought up this, he brought up that, like. It got me to that point. Like that's gonna be like, this is the one that clearly bothered him. Clearly, like, made him move a muscle. You know what I'm saying? The ghost rider.
Great point.
Favor.
Like, yo, honestly, like the way Drake recovered from that ghostwriting, but Dot's point about the Pusha T thing, the reason why that stands out as his one blemish for me is because he didn't even fight. Like he got tapped and was like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm not like I'm out. Now you can say he did it for whatever reason, but you just cleaned up Meek. Now you're not gonna take on a dude that's even less popular when you already acknowledged him in a battle, and now he responds, and now it's like Jay Prince is going around on a book tour.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
not
get
like so it's not as deep as Ether and Takeover, but it got to a point where like, Ether and Takeover came out, and then Jay-Z makes Super Ugly. And then he says something he shouldn't have said, and then he goes back and apologizes. That's why we never talk about Super Ugly to this day. We talk about like, Takeover. We talk about Ether. We don't talk about that track, So that's
Ugly wasn't a good song too.
but he brought up something that he shouldn't have said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, so I say that to say this. The one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about really is that I think Drake fans are like LeBron fans. Like, where like they want to like, so when we talk about Bron's numbers and like how people score more points now, teams score more, so people score more. Then you look back and you're looking at Jay-Z. Well, he don't got as many Billboard hits as Drake, but it's not like how it is now, where if you're a hot artist, if you're a Travis Scott, if you're a Kendrick, if you're a Cole, if you're a Drake, whenever you drop, your whole album is going into the Billboard because of how they do it now. You know what I'm saying? So, like, he probably got more number ones than Michael Jackson probably. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's true or not. But the way the system is now, I'm like, all right, if you want to sit here and tell me that you like Drake's music better than Jay-Z, better than Michael Jackson, better than Biggie, better than Tupac, better than whoever, cool. Like, just like if you want to tell me, yo, I think Bron just a better basketball player than Jordan. Don't talk to me about numbers. Talk to me about basketball. So that's why I think that Drake's fans, a lot of them who are younger, want to discount the past, whereas a lot of LeBron younger want to discount the past.
Yeah, I disagree. I view him as more of Michael Jordan fans. Because he can't do no wrong. He played in, he's in a different era where he dominated this era. He dominated, like, not for nothing, really has been like a 12-year run for Drake. If you want to keep it a bean, you know what I'm saying? So
I have to think about whatever year Take Care came out. That's the year I feel like he like ascended to the top.
I think when the mixtape dropped and he
I think
just came onto the scene.
When the mixtape came out, who was out that year? Like,
I remember that
Kanye did a crazy.
Yeah, like the guy was nominated for a Grammy.
Wayne might have still been doing his thing, but
Wayne was $1 million first week that year.
Yeah, but I remember when that mixtape came out, bro, when he did I just wanna be like
Successful. Oh my
gosh, I get it,
but to my point, it's just more of like,
see what I'm saying about discounting the past.
No, it's just bringing up to my point that I feel like they feel every single album is, he went 6 for 6, no blemishes, no albums, and I have to admit, he never put out a bad project. I have not heard a bad project. And then we only compare it to itself. We don't say, oh, whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, if you don't, his Take Care is his blueprint. It is his good kid, Mad City. That is his, elite project out of his, repertoire. And you can't deny that. So I just feel like Drake fans are always trying to be like, well. Once you even say anything negative, they start doing what academics do, shit on everybody else to booster it up.
I'm seeing more of a comparison with LeBron fans.
I feel like, but my thing with, I think the biggest thing in the Jay-Z Drake argument is when Jay-Z made certain albums, it wasn't like, yeah, you was hyped to hear it, but it wasn't like that's the album, like that's the standard. You know what I'm saying? There may be other artists out that was out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think even when like kind of Nelly came out with that Country Grammar one year, it was like, shit, this is the album, or 50 Cent or Wayne. But I feel like now, ever since Drake's gotten to that point, even if you want to call it the Take Care album, every time he comes out, that's the standard. Like, shit, Drake's coming. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like another artist can kind of go blow to the point where it's going to make a huge dent that you're going to notice and say, like, if you're a real avid hip hop fan, you may say, all right, yeah, this Benny the Butcher or this Freddie Gibbs album was real lyrical.
Yeah, that's a different lane.
But you can't really say like the blockbuster popularity factor, like anyone's beating that standard.
That's a great point. I can't front. That was actually a good point. Point.
Listen, Drake, ever since Take Care, man, like I feel like he's been on top. Like other dudes have had like huge years or whatever. Future had a year that was like, just out of this world.
Dirty Sprite.
Yeah, Kendrick had a year like 2017 when Damn dropped. That was crazy. Maybe even Good Kid, Mad City year.
That's my favorite album, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? They've been got like, so like, even if you say Drake wasn't number one in 2012, he was number 3. Where, so that's why I do more of the comparison with Bron, just because he's not always winning the championship.
He's always in the finals.
Yeah, and I also think that like a lot of people, like they want something from Drake that either A, he don't want to give us, or B, just not, or he don't have it in him to give us. Where Bron, like, people want like something from Bron where it's just not him. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, they want something from Bron. Like people, like a certain aspect want something from Bron. It's like, but he's doing great just being in his own lane. But I said to say, academics is sick because he was really shitting on dudes that's really like elite out here. Like Kendrick's last drop, he sold like over 600,000. Cole was up over 550,000. Travis, that's another person he really took a dump on, is Travis Scott.
Yeah,
Travis Scott like kind of fell off though. Like it's not the same like when he first started having those like what's those
Rodeo, the album Rodeo.
Those events outside when he was big at those type of parties.
Festivals, yeah.
It's no more, man.
Bro, but that I think that's his lane. Like, like I went to Rolling Loud and I seen Travis Scott. Like I was like these kids, like they love Travis Scott. Like he's like their like superhero. He's like their Kanye West. Like buy his merch, into everything he does. Like if Travis drops an album in 2 weeks, it's doing 500,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. All right, so let's move to a few quick topics. Then you guys can watch the Tory Lane explanation. Ice Cube and 50 Cent. So are we mad? Are we indifferent? Are we like it's their business? Is Cube different from Fifth? Like, what's going on?
I'm gonna keep it. Go ahead, Doc.
I feel like Ice Cube, you can't really get mad at him. Like, you can't make somebody be a Democratic. You can't make somebody be a Republican. If you have a plan and if you want something to get executed out of that plan, you really have to go to both sides. You can't have an agenda and whoever is willing to give you or like negotiate and give you the most out of what you're looking for, that's naturally who you're going to go with. I think it kind of ruffles people a little bit because like, Trump, when they get something like that, they take that and run, like just to prove that. I think it's kind of almost a slap in the face. Like, look at this black guy, he's messing with us. Ha 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 ha. I think that's kind of what Trump's trying to do. 50, like, that's why I say, like, with certain artists, man, that don't take that step to go towards that lane, like, you can't even take them serious when it comes to politics. Like, I don't think, like, 50 should know better, but I'm not going to pay attention to 50 Cent for, like, my update on politics, on what's going on in the world. So I can understand why people are upset, because he does have, like, a big following. Like, people do hang on his words. People do look up to him. So for him to say that kind of thing, which Biden later tweeted out that wasn't even the case, it kind of makes a difference. Like I was saying to you guys earlier, like, there's been certain people that I've had a conversation with that's told me, like, yeah, Trump's going to make us all rich, or we're going to get more money with Trump, not realizing, like, the deep dynamics of what he's trying to do. So.
Yeah, I just first of all, I just want to start. I don't, who you want to vote for, you vote for. And, I'm not here to influence anybody, and my views of you and how I treat you ain't going to change as well. What Ice Cube did was he just had to wait for this to be over. I don't know how long he was working for that plan or had it in place, the platinum plan, but regardless of, he is on this media run now trying to clear up his name and talk about it, because at the end of the day, he knew he dropped the ball in regards to allowing them to have ammo to use them as a pawn and just a marketing tool. 50 Cent, my only issue with 50, yes, everyone knows that he's joking, but in this dynamic, even typing that, he uplifted and uprooted a segment of the population that was like, ha, 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 your most gangsterous African American is now a courageous American. Let me Photoshop his picture, put vote for Trump on his hat, and use him as a pawn because he's so dumb enough to say, I'm voting for Donald Trump and we're going to use this as free marketing. And he opened himself up for that. Cuba can't be upset at. You know what I mean? He's saying, regardless, if you want things done in this country, you might have to work with people that you don't agree with. But if it's something for the greater good for our community, I just don't like how he went about it. He didn't even meet Trump. He met Trump's representative. So if Trump really cared, he would have been at that meeting. You guys know Donald Trump met with Kim Kardashian, right? Because he cared. Because he wanted those marketing and those eyes and those photo ops. He didn't care about you to even sit down with you. You should have known then to, let me postpone this meeting. And that's my issue with Q.
So I have no issue with Ice Cube at the least, because a lot of times what happens is, like, we as Black people are just told, yo, we're voting Democrat. And to be honest with you, the position of Black people hasn't improved since we've been voting Democrat. So if Ice Cube is saying, like, hey, I want to go to both parties, show them my contract with Black America, saying, like, hey, like, here's my idea, this is what I want, this is where we're moving to. And for me, saying, come talk to us after the election is code word for get the F out of here, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because once you get elected, they don't even need you anymore as Black people. Because if you guys remember specifically, Joe Biden's campaign was dead on arrival. He got to South Carolina and got a lot of Black votes, which saved his campaign. And so now I feel like, bro, like, you wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Black people.
Jiggy, real quick. My only thing about saying wait is you have a plan. You know the election's coming up. So why wouldn't you wait regardless if he's in position right now? That's why I just said the timing does, mean a factor to me. But whatever he has in plan, let's say he's presenting it to Trump. Trump can't do nothing for you if he's out of office. That's what I'm saying. Why don't you just wait? Is it that important of, does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Like,
nah, I think it's the opposite. I think that the only time you can get something out of somebody is when they really need you. So if I'm just sick and tired of like,
he can't get anything out of Trump
why can't he?
in the sense of, you know,
in the sense
depending
of,
on what happened the election, he might not be in office. So what is he going to get from him if he's not in position to help him and just see that plan through?
So let's say he gave the plan to both of them. You know what I'm saying? And
we know for a fact that
he tried.
He never met with Joe
tried.
Biden said, let's wait till after. Why would I take a proposal and entertain a proposal when I don't know if I can actually benefit and help you? And then next thing you know, it is, oh, I presented this to him.
Because so then why take anyone's proposal ever?
No, you could do it when you like if Trump,
but that's what I'm saying.
No, 4 years to go, then he can do it. What do you mean?
If you're running, right? So if I'm running for office and Zim comes to me with the plan for African Americans who are of Nigerian descent, and I say, hey, see me after the election, man, like, you know, and we'll talk about it then. So that's basically me blowing you off.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I don't because you're not going to get anything unless they feel they can get something out of you. Politicians will campaign, but they always vote and side with the people who fund their elections, right or wrong.
Right.
Correct.
Right. So here you got Ice Cube, who's worth like $500, $600, $700 million. If you implement part of his plan, now maybe he'll say, I'll donate $3 million to your super PAC. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that he should work with Trump, but if I'm Ice Cube, I'm like, damn, I tried to work with you guys. He might have mailed it out and gave it to people on the same day. And the Trump campaign said, hey, like we like two or three of these things. We're gonna implement them in the platinum plan for Black people. Now, for all we know, you know, Trump might not get elected. Trump might not follow through on his promises. Same thing with Biden. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not mad at the timing, because now is the time when you can hold feet to the fire. Once they're in office, they're gonna just revert back to what they was doing anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he put himself in a position to, obviously, as you've seen, they use them as a marketing tool. And then when the son of the president puts out a Photoshop picture like that, that to me, that just lets me know what they sincerely think about you. When the man himself, the one that you are trying to appease or get this passed through or whatever the case may be, doesn't even have the time and dignity to even meet with you. Hey, go talk to my people over here. To me, that says something as well. Just how you say not answering the phone call or saying wait till after the election is like shunning, disrespectful. I feel the same way too if I was Cube. If you're like, no, I don't want to meet with you, I'll meet with somebody else.
I just think differently, and I also think that there's a lot of tension going on because there's no prominent Black men in the Democratic Party.
It's just now, first we were saying there's no women, now there's no men.
I didn't say there's no women. I never said there's no women.
No. I'm saying that's been the wave. First is no African American woman. Now we have one who's in a prominent position in the party, and now no, that's not enough. We need a man now.
I'm telling you, man. Like we gotta be.
It's always just
we gotta be real. Yo,
politics.
That's
what I'm noticing.
If you want 98% of the Black vote, if you want 98% of it, because that's what they usually get, there should be Black men, Black women, Black gay people, Black trans people. We should be all throughout that party.
Yeah, but Josh, what I'm trying to say is, why doesn't the other party have to do that?
Because we're not voting for them.
But that's my point. You're saying that this particular party needs to earn our vote, and we've just been programmed to go this certain area, and it hasn't benefited us. Okay, granted, let's say Kazim agrees with you, and I'm giving you that. Why doesn't the other party have to do that?
Because if I'm the other party, and listen, I'm not voting Republican. I already cast.
I know you're just.
But what I'm saying is, until Black people decide to take their vote and go somewhere else with it, we're gonna keep getting the same results after every 4 years. Listen. Barack Obama was a Black president, and we're worse off now than we've ever been.
And you know what the reason is behind that. You know, with the Senate and the House, if you don't have control of that, which he didn't have both terms.
No, that's a lie. That's not true.
He had the Senate. He had
the House and Senate. His first 2 years, he had both.
The first 2 years. What about the remaining 6?
It don't matter. He didn't do nothing the first 2 years with it. It don't matter, bro. You gotta and if my one
listen, there's only 2 options here, Josh. Listen, there's only 2 options. So you're saying one has not done anything for us, and in order to whatever, they need to do X, Y, and Z. But you're saying, no, don't go that route because look what has it done with us, or open your eyes to another party that has none of that, or even attempted, or even fake it.
All I'm saying is,
they faked it with Ice Cube. 50 Cent.
No. See, that's what I don't like. If I'm voting for you 95, 96, 97%, I need something tangible. Listen, IPAC is getting stuff. That's the, that's the, that's the Jewish Alliance. That's the Jews, the American Israeli Alliance. The LGBTQ is getting something. Joe Biden said his main thing is going to be to push through the LGBTQ agenda. Latinx people are getting stuff. And then if you look through the Biden plan, that green whatever initiative, it says minorities, people of color. It don't say Black nowhere. So that's what I'm saying. We have to be very careful because we're going to get left at the altar again with 95, 96% of the Black vote.
So we're not minorities. That's what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that we have to listen, we have to be careful here, Josh. No.
And I say we have to be careful because
every other special interest groups get their stuff through.
Right. Besides the minorities.
No, besides Black people.
Are we not part of the minority? That's all I'm asking. Yes or no?
Bro, you don't like.
No. I get what you're saying. You're basically saying we need specifically Black because Hispanics get, special treatment, Jewish, Hindu, Indian, Asian, etc. Right? So are you claiming in these laws, and I will leave it up to you because you are more equipped in that those specific groups have specific, this is the Asian, what we're going to do for the Asians. This is what we're going to do for the Hispanics. This is what we're going to do for the Jews and the Indians or whatever. Are you telling me in American laws they have that, or they categorize it as minorities? And I think that's where you're getting too excited.
No, I'm not getting too excited. What I'm saying to you is that if you're going to, Black people vote the most for Democrats as a block, as a percentage, right? But we get the least. I'll put it like this, right? When you think of affirmative action and everything that has sprawled from it, what do you think of? Black people, right?
Black people, correct. The Rooney Rule, Black people, right?
Yeah, but affirmative action is not for Black people. When in 1964, when they passed the bill, it was supposed to be a win for Black people. When all the protesting and marching and begging and pleading that we did, but the group of people who benefited most from affirmative action are white females. You want to know how I know this? Because at the job that I work at, every time we hire a white woman, that's a diversity hire. So right now we have a management and boardroom full of white women, and on the books we're doing the right thing because those are diversity hires. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That
diversity, I agree with you in that whole. I know that's happening, but diversity is different than minority. So explain that aspect. And I think that's what we're disconnecting. Yeah,
women are minorities.
White women are minorities.
When you talk about hiring practices and programs,
you work in HR. Is this correct? White women labeled as minorities?
Nah, and a lot of places every company now is going through like their diversity and inclusion thing. I wouldn't say right now the minority is white women. I think what we're trying to get more of is like, black people and like, people from the LBGTQ community. So I wouldn't think I think a lot of places, if you went in and said white women, the minority that would be taken like that would be
Yeah.
But technically, it would be right because they are diversity hires. It all goes in the same basket.
I would have to go.
Yeah, but there's certain things. But yeah, but Josh, you going
on
off of just the numbers. You know that there's more like white men that like go file lawsuits for being like being like
Yeah, when they talk about so basically like
discriminated against.
So like
but we all know in reality,
yeah, it's not true.
Can't really go off,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Keep that third eye woke, yo, Zine. Keep that third eye woke, bro.
That is crazy.
Yo, listen, even like Google, I think it's Harvard right now. I don't know if it's Harvard or Princeton. I can't remember which one, but there's a huge lawsuit where Asian students are suing, saying that they're getting discriminated against because they're bringing in too many black and brown people.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So it's cutting every bit. So like that's what I'm saying. Like we don't like. I don't think of a white woman as a minority, but on the books, it's different. Last thing for tonight. Are the Pats done?
Buffalo Bills.
Oh my God, this guy. Buffalo stinks, bro.
Josh Allen. Nah, not for nothing. Everybody, I was watching ESPN today, and they was talking about like the Bills and everything, and Mark Spears and like Jeff Saturday, all those dudes. They got the Pats winning the division, so it's not like the Pats is some crazy underdog. Like everybody's Pats winning the AFC East, but my Buffalo Bills is going straight.
My Buffalo Bills.
I think Miami kind of gave up on the season. But
the Pats are good. They're straight. Can't play terrible. He only practiced 2 times in 2 weeks. Guy had COVID. Like, I'm not really stressing it, but I understand why Tom Brady got the hell up out of there. I am sorry. Kill Harry, Julian Edelman, fly like an eagle, fly like a bird, whatever his name is. Burkhead, James White, and Sony.
James White's a good weapon.
Yeah, he is. And Burkhead's good too. I ain't gonna diss those guys. But there is no supporting cast. You want Josh McDaniels. You ever see that French Prince of Bel-Air commercial when Will burns down the kitchen and they have to figure out, how they're gonna cook for that judge because Uncle Phil wanted to, and then they went into the kitchen like, oh my God, you cooked this miracle in this burnt kitchen. Like that's what they want Cam and Josh McDaniels to do. So Pats is fine, but they need to win this week. Who you guys got this week? San Fran, right?
Yeah, it's a tough game.
San Fran,
they're getting healthy. Yep.
They are getting healthy, so it's not going to be easy. But if you can compete with the Seattle Seahawks, you can compete with this team and give Cam more practice time. But weapons-wise, man, you guys are disgusting.
Yo,
the defense is amazing though.
Nah, they're all right. We just don't have no like explosive like pass rushes that could like get sacks and stuff like that. We have to try to scheme everything up, and the defense is built around the secondary. So let's talk about Tom Brady, right? So are the Buccaneers, are they a legit NFC championship contender?
Definitely.
No.
I'm not saying they're gonna go to the lock to Super Bowl, but they're definitely like they have a chance. Like I wouldn't be like, oh damn, this is surprising. Like they got a good defense. They got a good defense.
Yeah, the defense kind of shocked me.
Packers is usually talked about, you know what I'm saying? And it's like when it gets to playoff times, they kind of always fall off the last couple years. Seahawks has no defense. They can score it, but like who they really stopping? And the Saints have kind of like, been unfortunate with that first year, you know what I'm saying? But then I don't know, like who in the NFC right now would you say is an automatic lock to go to the Super Bowl?
I think that Russell Wilson is the best player in the NFC.
Yeah, by far he's the best player. But you know what I'm saying? He also has to stop somebody. His team
Yeah,
has
that's true.
Yo, this is crazy right now. I'm watching live on Facebook the marching, that's going down on Broad Street. Fireworks right now. They're right
Yup.
near the McDonald's, in that Dollar Zone and that Burger King. They're right there, Classical right now.
Wow, they made it all the way down there, huh? Uh-oh.
Crazy. There's dogs. Yeah,
Don't
this
play
is
with that
wild,
Latin
man.
community.
This is wild. Whoa, fireworks like that? They're
Yo,
throwing
Zine,
fireworks at the This is crazy.
Zine, talk to me. Tom Brady versus Bill Belichick. Who's gonna win the divorce?
Tom's gonna win that divorce.
Why?
He's gonna win that divorce because Buccaneers right now is primed to at least make the playoffs. And to me, honestly, I think it's Super Bowl or bust. But if you can be like, hey, I brought my team to the second round or the NFC game, you know what I'm saying? And the Patriots don't even make it at all, you got to wait it out. But I think Bill Belichick has more of an opportunity longevity-wise to be like, yo, I did X, Y, and Z without Tom Brady. He just needs to get the right pieces. I'm still impressed at 2-3. Honestly, you guys should be 3-2 because you guys should have won that Seattle game. You know what I'm saying? So I look at little things like that. So I give Patriots a lot of credit. I'm gaining more respect for Josh McDaniels.
Yo, I'm watching that Patriots game, and Cam's trying to bring us back to that last drive, and I'm just like, I already know that them corners are not scared.
Nah, they're not.
Yo, but I just know that when Brady, like when he's on the other side, like the other defense is like petrified,
petrified, right? Yeah, but
yo, I think that if Tom Brady gets to the Super Bowl at age 43, like I'm just gonna throw my hands up and I'll be happy for him, but I'll be disgusted because I still wish he was a Patriot bad. You know what I'm saying? And
he didn't want you guys didn't appreciate him.
I did.
So Josh, let me ask you this: if we could swap like every offensive piece the Buccaneers have and Brady and put them on the pass jet defense, is it a lock to beat the Chiefs this year easily?
But the Chiefs don't want Chiefs would be shitting bricks seeing the Patriots.
Yeah,
Brady like people got mad at Brady because he was yelling at his lineman who headbutted the dude and got them a 15-yard penalty on Thursday night. Then this game, no penalties at all. And Tampa Bay was known for being a heavily penalized team. And I think that Brady's brought a lot of stability to that franchise. And I think that the one thing that I want it to work really bad with Cam Newton because he's a black quarterback, and I think that sometimes he gets unfairly treated. You know what I'm saying? But damn, man, it ain't nothing like having 12 back there, bro. It's different.
Tom Brady, well, regardless, he didn't play that good on Sunday. Well, he didn't have to. Rojo took over, but he's not putting up crazy numbers over there at Tampa Bay.
He got. I just pulled this up. He got 14 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
And 3 of them touchdowns, second most in the league right now.
Yeah, he got 64 completion percentage, 1,500 yards already.
Balling.
And
his light numbers. I seen the stats today compared to the pace that he was at last year. He actually had better numbers last year at this time than this year.
But I don't know. I think this year is gonna be more sustainable because there's more talent around him. It's just like they just have such a better team.
And Brady started off hot last year when
he did
pieces, and then everything started kind of messing up with Antonio Brown and
Josh. That's a good point. Man, it's gonna be such great debate fodder, man. Skip Bayless had me in tears, bro.
What, with the jersey?
When he said original gangsta, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
What you know about that, Skip? But damn, man, I just hope that we're able to make it through the whole season with COVID because FanDuel is lit right now.
Looks, how many was his is 6? We are week 7, so we gotta get to what, week 16?
Week 17.
I'm really cashing out.
Yeah, you made a lot of money on behalf of the FanDuel chat.
You gotta tell Tardy put me in that league, man. Damn, he's
Dot seen it, yo. And the thing about it, he said I would have won the second one too. You know, the other league that Toddy got. He said I would have won that by 2 points too. I was like, damn, I should have sent that 25 as well.
Yeah,
so what?
yeah, that's
So
like
what's
a
better?
$500 on the weekend. That's not bad. $50 to make 500. Look
Right.
at you smile.
That's crack prices, bro. That's wild.
Can't
Crazy.
beat that.
Yo, so tell me, what's better, the FanDuel action or the chat action?
The chat. Nah, I like certain chat action. Nah,
I love the chat action, but I'm getting money off of the FanDuel.
Yo, that chat is unruly.
crazy.
But all right, yo, listen, I'm tired. I've been on Zoom since.
Yo, listen, depending on what Tori says, when I start Googling
I'm
this,
hearing like
we might have an emergency pod tomorrow.
my man who was cursing me out, he just hit me. I sent it to him. He said, I knew you was coming. And then he said, now I don't even know. He made some valid points. I don't know. People.
Yo, all I know is that Meg said, yo, this dude is crazy.
They both saying each other crazy.
Well, nah, he's saying that she's still my friend.
Let me go listen to this, man. I'm tuned
She's
in.
still saying that's my friend. I seen it as soon as I opened up Instagram.
I'm hearing Jay-Z gave him a call. Like, I need to listen to this.
Jay-Z gave him a call. This guy.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, all right, fellas.